You did not respond when I called to you after you pulled out the artifact. Does that mean Barrett's theory and experience were correct? The artifact grants the first person who touches it a vision? The fact that it has happened to both you and Barrett is already more than we had before. I think it is important that we discuss what you saw back there. That man. What I had done. It was, yes. I appreciate that you see it that way. A very practical outlook, not one I find is shared amongst members of Constellation. May I ask what your background is? Have you now? I have also seen a great many things in my time. Some quite dangerous. We both seem to be unusual additions to Constellation. Please, I would ask that you not mention to Vladimir the circumstances in which you found me. This is not the first time that Varun zealots have attempted to corner me. If it is known that this has happened again, well, it has been a while since I was given an assignment on my own. I would not want it to be even longer in the future. Do you understand? Mom, this means we are in agreement. Thank you. That is good to know. I will finish here and return to New Atlantis when I can. You should go now, as they will be expecting us. I wanted to thank you for giving me the chance to work with you. I know we met under, unusual circumstances. You seem to be acclimating well to Constellation. Are you enjoying working with them? It is certainly a less normal experience than most are used to, but I think that is a good thing. You have certainly become a vital part of the organization. That is a credit to your abilities. If I may, from what you have seen, do you think I fit in well with the rest of Constellation? I cannot tell if that is a compliment or an attempt to avoid the question. I will assume the former. I have a very different background from the rest of Constellation. I carry myself differently. I worry that some of the others are unable to see past this. I have not shared much, but everyone knows I worked with smugglers for years. I am no stranger to violence and death. Yes, exactly. I survived. That was the only goal. For those that have not lived it, it can be difficult to imagine or accept. Others here have seen conflict, but for more noble causes. Vladimir is the only one here who can begin to understand. He was the one who pressed the group to include me. I lack his charm. He puts others at ease. I fear my presence does the opposite. That is kind of you. You also have a lot going. I find expressing affection difficult, but truly. Thank you. I know this seems trivial, perhaps childish. I have just always relied only on myself. I have never been surrounded by people like this. By a group I wish to be a part of. Does that make sense? And yet here we are, working together. And that has, I think, gone very well. Discussing these things is challenging for me. I hope now you can better understand why I wanted to keep the circumstances of our meeting quiet. I wanted to thank you for not saying anything to Vladimir. I know that you said you wouldn't, but it is still a relief. I would like my contributions to Constellation to amount to more than violence. Indeed it was. And now I hope you can see why. Thank you for talking this over with me. It is good to know that at least one member of Constellation understands me. Yes? Yes, of course. You might find it absurd, but honestly, the Lodge. I have never been surrounded by such a remarkable group of people, present company included. It has been a very long time since I have been someplace that could possibly feel like home. There are worlds beyond count out there, but that feeling is rare and precious. I have done so in the past, when necessary, but I am not the best pilot, and it seems prudent to apply my skills where they are most useful. Lately, that means aiding you, and that, I think, has worked out very well. Honestly, I cannot answer that. So many years have been driven by survival in intense circumstances. Leisure time it's been in short supply, and I suppose I have conditioned myself to not think about it much. I do enjoy combat training, though I suppose that is hardly the answer you're looking for. You have given me something to consider. Thank you for that. Here, I have something for you. Yes, well, it seemed like a good idea. I saw it earlier and thought you might like it. Or find it useful. Or, well, whatever. Of course. We are partners, are we not? I will keep an eye out in the future. And if I see something, I might hold on to it for you. We have not yet had a moment to talk about what happened to you at that place. Temple? I am not sure what to call it. In all my time amongst the stars, I have never heard of such a thing. What do you think that place was? Then it seems fitting that you were the one to discover it. Certainly it is too soon to speculate about who built it, but how can we not? After what you experienced, do you have any insights? All right, fine. You could just say you have no idea. I am sorry. After what you have been through, I should be asking about you. Are you all right? Have you felt any side effects? A cynical person might suggest that in itself could be a side effect. But for now, we will just assume you have been very fortunate. The artifacts, that temple, this new ability you have acquired, clearly they are all connected. This is all so much bigger than we realized. Yes, you are right. And if we continue to work together, perhaps we can start to explain some of this. Now we have even greater reason to press forward, to learn more about what is at work here. I have been curious. I know that your role in Constellation was thrust upon you in an unusual way. But that experience does not demand that you stay. You could have delivered the artifact and then left. Why do you stay? One that, hopefully, will soon be solved. My past is complicated. And anyone in Constellation will tell you I do not speak much of it. But my family always stressed the importance of having a purpose in life. You must have a reason for being. A goal is something you work towards, an expectation of achievement. That is not the same. I believe it is sometimes phrased as, the destination is not as important as the journey. When I first came to New Atlantis, I was shocked at how many people go about their business every day like drones. They do their jobs, eat their food, sleep in their beds, all seemingly without concern for anything around them. Complacent. Their experience is so different from much of the settled systems. They do not know how good they have it. Yes, they were. I did not grow up amidst such luxury. Purpose cuts through adversity. I know that all too well. And these people seem to have no idea. I am not asking for pity. I have done what is necessary to bear my burdens, and it has led me here. My family is unique within the settled systems. I grew up outside the bounds of the United Colonies, or the Freestar Collective. My parents, and their parents before them, did not believe anyone outside our family could be trusted or relied upon. You can imagine, I am sure, how existence without ties to others is challenging in space. It has certainly proven valuable. Saved me. A few times, without question. For now, though, it would seem you and I have found purpose in Constellation. I believe that is enough. I am pleased that we have common cause, and have enjoyed our time together. Thank you. Never would I have imagined to encounter something like the Starborn. Now I feel that rather than having answers, we only have more questions. Yes, by any meaning of the word. Regardless of how impossible they may have seemed before now, I must say that I do not like being threatened by anyone. If so, what would that be? Clearly, the Starborn are connected to the artifacts, which would mean that they are also connected to that temple you found. Did they make these things? Have they appropriated them? This all implies there is something more, something we do not yet understand. I was just getting used to how complicated they already were. We will need to be on our guard from now on. They seem to know much about us. Perhaps we can learn more about them to make it even. We should return to our search then. There's still so much to do. I have been thinking about what we talked about before. The idea of purpose in one's life. We spoke of the difference between having a purpose and having goals. I believed myself right in the moment and dismissed what you were saying. But thinking more, perhaps I have been arrogant to assume I am right. I have been single-minded in my pursuits. I have always believed the decisions I made were necessary, that there was no other option. I have sacrificed much to be where I am now. And I'm starting to wonder if it has been worth it. Doubts have never been something I would consider. I have told you that I am not one to discuss my past. And yet, I would not presume to think we have had similar experiences. I would hope you would do the same. I promised to provide for my family. That meant working with smugglers to procure supplies we could not acquire any other way. I have spent my adult life away from my home, jumping from one planet to the next, living in dangerous conditions, often surrounded by violence. It certainly influenced the way I see the universe. I was convinced from the beginning that it was unwise to let anyone get too close. I had, maybe not quite friends, but people I cared about. Yet there was always a distance I could not reach across. I often find other people complicated and confusing. It seemed easier to not become attached, especially when circumstances meant I might never see them again, with no warning. And yet here we are. I find we work better together. What I am trying to say is that I now wonder whether it has been the right decision to distance myself from others. I appreciate that more than you know. So, we finally have all the answers. And yet here I stand, feeling like I understand even less than I did before. This talk of the unity of a multiverse? Dead friends appearing again? It is all simply too much. And you think it is just that simple? It would seem to me that verifying this is much like verifying the idea of an afterlife. If this is all true, as the Starborn say, then passing through the unity will allow one to know the truth. But whomever does that will then never be able to report that truth back to the rest of us. What good then does it do us? We did not, could not, have understood that our mission would bring us here. If this is true, it changes so much of what we know about the universe, and we have no way to know unless we make this leap. Of course, I want to support all of Constellation, you included. But it is so much to consider. Even if everything the Starborn have said is true, if you pass into this unity and come out in some other universe, look at who they are, and what they have become. They have the faces and voices of people you know, but are nothing like them. Are you not at all worried that the same fate would befall you? That you would become someone unrecognizable to the rest of us? Now you sound like Sarah, but you are not wrong. I will do my best to assume the best, but you cannot blame me for preparing for the worst. We should get back to it. Now that we know what to work towards, There's no time to waste. I have something I wanted to say. But I confess I am afraid of how you will react. I am reluctant to put that to the test. But it is necessary that we are honest with each other. You told me that you believe in going it alone, as you put it. But we have traveled together for a while now. I feel I must honor that time with the truth. The little I have spoken of my history has been nothing but truth. I worked with smugglers. I have caused my share of pain and suffering. What I have left out, until now, is that all of that was done on behalf of House Va'ruun. My people. My family. I am not joking. I was born in the great city of Dazra, and raised with the teachings of Jinan Va'ruun. I underwent the rite of Krejar when I came of age. I am of the promised, those who know the truth of the Great Serpent and his inevitable return. Your ability to find the humor in a situation is remarkable. No, I will not kill you for knowing, but you must understand that this is privileged information. Several years ago, I intercepted requests from Constellation to access Va'ruun's space, speaking only of exploration. I was sent to infiltrate Constellation, posing as a former smuggler looking for a new purpose in life. I am pleased to have fulfilled that wish for you, I suppose. But certainly not everyone shares that view. Several weeks after I arrived, I attempted to access secure records within Constellation's archives. Vladimir and Sarah were waiting for me. That is not how I saw them. I was horrified. My failure would be reported to the High Council, and the penalty would be severe. You are now the third person within Constellation to know. You and I have spent so much time together. It has been increasingly difficult to keep this from you. And I am sorry for that. Telling you this violates so many of the orders I was given. But it was the right thing to do. I can feel that. You have no idea what a relief that is. Thank you for trusting me. It has been a relief to be honest with you about my past. I appreciate your willingness to listen. But talking about this, remembering all those years, has brought back some unsettling memories. Thank you. That means a great deal to me. I have told you that I spent many years coordinating with smugglers along the edges of the settled systems. There were men and women I worked alongside closely. And over time, I established relationships. They were not of the promised, but I considered them friends. Yes, I have found that to be true. It was, and is, still a surprise. You must understand. I was raised to believe that those who do not follow the Great Serpent do not matter, for they are lost. Their fate is fixed and grim. And yet here were these men and women with hopes and dreams, delights and aversions. It felt like a small betrayal of my people, of House Varun, but I cared for my friends. And then I lost them. It's not something I have much experience with. It was so sudden. We had met on a remote planet to transfer cargo, and zealots appeared in force, seemingly out of nowhere. There was barely time to react. So many were cut down immediately. I believe my years of training saved me, got me moving when others faltered. I retreated to my ship immediately. But I left them all behind. Aaron Bascom and Jada Wong. They were my friends, and I abandoned them. And in the years since, I have never looked for them. "10 years. I was immediately reassigned to another role, light years away. No, maybe. I don't know. It all happened so fast, and I've had so much time since then to replay it in my head. Wonder if I should have done things differently. In my time getting to know you, I have thought more and more of all this. How little sense it all made, how I never really knew what happened or what became of my friends. My connection to you has reminded me what it means to trust someone, to be there for them. And I can no longer live with not knowing. I need to finally pursue this. I would like you with me when I do. I do not know what we will find, but I know it will be easier with you at my side. Thank you. That is... I'm sorry, I am not used to someone being so considerate on my behalf. I am not sure where they might be now, but I believe we should begin the search in Aquila City. That is where I last saw Aaron Bascom. Thank you for coming back here with me. I fear that after all that has happened, I am unsure of my place in House Varun. This room may now be the only place I have left to call home. It is reassuring to hear you say that, but still, I do not know how to live without some connection to House Varun. The Great Serpent has always been a guiding force in my life, the force that drives all that I do. What if I have lost that? Yes, that is true. Whatever else has happened or will happen, the Great Serpent still holds a purpose for me. You have been by my side through all of this, the most turbulent time in my life. And you have supported me, faithfully. I have never been able to count on any single person the way I have with you. If I am repeating myself, you will have to forgive me. I cannot overstate what it means to me. Well, that is... I am sorry. I need a moment. I admit this is a surprise. I did not quite realize you felt this way about me. But if you mean it, my feelings are not so different from yours. We must be clear on one thing from the very beginning. I do not share If you are mine, then you are mine alone. No one else will come between us. If that is not a commitment you are willing to make, I understand, but I will not compromise. Then truly nothing can stop us. We will be a force to be reckoned with. You have brought a joy to my life that I could not have imagined, and could never have expected. With you at my side, love, I look forward to everything that comes next. I have been thinking about us as a couple? I am not sure of the terminology. Our relationship, let us say. I would expect nothing less. You and I, we come from such different backgrounds. I cannot really know all that you have been through, and you are not House Varun. I am not suggesting otherwise. This does not work if I am not honest, if I will not speak plainly what is on my mind. As much as I love you, and I do, I cannot help but wonder what the future holds for us, given all that I know to be true. No, that is not my concern. I trust that you will stay with me. When the Great Serpent returns, I know I will be by his side as one of the promised. But you are not like me. You are not House Varun. Your fate, as much as it pains me, is sealed. I have tried to not worry myself over it, but I cannot stop thinking about it. What future can we have if that is the inevitable end? And I do admire that about you. Frankly, sometimes I envy it. But I cannot share that belief. I have never expected you to share my beliefs. You cannot possibly. And I will not fault you for that. I do want to be with you, but there are moments I find myself grieving for you already, knowing that you will be lost. How can I possibly move past this? Never one to pass up a chance at a joke, are you? I just hate to think of anything coming between us, whether now or in the future. But you are right. I need to focus on what is in front of me now. Not something I have no control over. Thank you for talking me through this. It only serves to remind me how much you mean to me. How deeply I care about you. Really? You continue to surprise and amaze me. I am at a loss for words. Of course, yes. Yes, I want that too. My culture deals with this so differently than I have seen in the rest of the settled systems. I need some time to consider what would be an appropriate, equivalent gesture. But do not mistake that for hesitation. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I will not let you go for a moment. Before I say anything else, I wanted to thank you for giving me time. When I first came here, I never expected that I would meet you or feel this way about you. That we would end up here together. I know that you told me you were not going anywhere, but I still worried, if only a little, that my asking for time to think would be a problem. There is no precedent for any of this. A romantic relationship not within the bounds of Barun culture, I mean. I wanted to attempt to honor that culture nonetheless. I know, and I love you for that. The point I am trying to get to is that I believe I have an idea, a way I can demonstrate my commitment to you. Do you seriously believe I am going to wear a dress for this? Let alone buy one for the occasion? I do not want a fancy party. I do not want to wear a dress, and we do not need music. This is between you and me, and no one else. You know who I am. I do not need to explain myself to you as I would to others. They might not understand, and I do not want that distraction. I want to be able to focus on us. So, as soon as you are ready, I want us to travel together to the second planet in the Shosa system. There's something we need to do there. There is little I can offer to show you how much I care, how much you mean to me. Whatever House Varun deems proper could not work, because you are not House Varun. And whatever marriage traditions you might have would not be appropriate for me. I agree. And that is why we are here. This place, where we stand now, is the first place I was brought upon leaving my city, Dasra. The first time I had ever left my home planet. As you know, I was never allowed to know the way back home. That frightened me. But at the same time, I was suddenly aware of not just one planet, but a whole universe I had never seen. That is a feeling I had not experienced again until I met you. Well, in this instance, I am happy to feed your ego. I shall try not to make too much of a habit of it. But there is more. Buried here is something of great value to me, something I wish you to have. It is best, I think, if you are the one to retrieve it. You hold in your hands the most treasured item I could give you. No, you certainly have not. There is a reason for that, and I hope when I explain why, you will understand what this means. In my culture, every child is entrusted with a pet groat. They are domesticated creatures native to my planet. Smelly, cantankerous, but their milk is a staple of our diet. We raise the groat. We care for it, we milk it. And when we come of age, we slaughter the groat and fashion its skull into a dagger. It is simply what is done. It has always been done. Through this groat, we are shown the connection that we have to the Great Serpent. That all things serve the Serpent and can be tools for his use in more ways than one. I am glad that you can appreciate that. Every member of House Varun has a dagger like this. We are instructed to keep them at our side at all times. The Great Serpent is always with us, as is the danger of those who defy and oppose him. But that constant connection to the Great Serpent is a liability to those of us sent out into the settled systems. So when we first leave our home, we hide it. I am proud. I have always been. But my mission dictated that my origins remain concealed. So for years, this dagger has remained buried here, hidden from the world. But now, I believe you should have it. With it, I hope you can understand that I trust you completely. That I know you will care for this the way you care for me. And that we are connected in a way that is now truly unique in the settled systems. In all of creation. I love you, and I am yours. Wholly and completely. You are very welcome, and I know that you will. I would not have brought you here otherwise. Whew. Now, surely there is some other grand adventure that awaits us. We should go and meet it head on. My day is suddenly much improved. How about that? Do you want to hear me say that you make me deliriously happy? Because you do. Then I shall be sure and tell you more often, darling. So, the unity awaits. I'm not as afraid as I thought I would be. Stepping away from the world you know can lead to a better place. Constellation has given me a home, and I will always be grateful. But I also feel ready. Do you think we will see each other after the unity? Will we even recognize each other if we do? Oh, that was already my plan. If we do not see each other again, then goodbye. I am proud of all that we have accomplished. I did not think I would see you again. I almost walked in myself, but I thought, what if someone else came back and they were alone? But at some point you will. The unity may wait forever, but there will come a day when we cannot remain together, no matter how much we wish it. Still, I will remember the moment when you chose me over the infinite. Now that you have seen the unity, what are your thoughts? The Starborn believe they are competing with each other. With us. I wonder if the unity causes this, or if it is just them. There is a part of me that still believes you should go. That the unity is the last step on this journey. Now that you are back, I am not sure what I think. Perhaps Constellation is worth holding on to. Even with the feeling of destiny in the distance.